Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you my top 10 most valuable records according to Discogs. Now, let me put a big disclaimer out there right away. For those of you that use Discogs, you probably already know this, but if you don't, Discogs on their website, you can catalog your record collection on Discogs, look up different records. It's all done by users. Users can submit certain albums and different pressings and all that kind of stuff, all the information there. It's very much like the Wikipedia of records. But on Discogs, they list, you can sell records on there as well, and you can buy records. And they show you, for your personal collection, they show you what each record is worth. They showed the sales for that. So what I'm doing for this video, I'm going to base it off of the highest price that all these records sold for. Now, that being said, a lot of times it's a little bit screwy because one record could sell for $3,000 because somebody doesn't really know what they're doing, or they sold it to a friend or something like that. There's always some kind of screwy things going on there. So it's not in any way, this is not like, this is what these records are worth right now, because that is not true whatsoever. And you'll see some of these records I'm about to show you. Some of them are kind of funny. Some of them make sense. The top three they make sense to me, but the order the top three are in, it's a little bit interesting. So I should also mention that I've included box sets as well, because that's when I made the list here on one of my Discogs. You can do this yourself. Go to Discogs, go to your collection, and like you could sort it by the highest price sold. That's how I got my top 10. So let's start off with number 10. We're gonna go 10 all the way up to number 1. The first record. This is The Doors' debut album, and this is a stereo pressing, and it is a Monarch pressing. And surprisingly enough, on Discogs, and my copy, by the way, the sleeve isn't in the best shape, but the record itself, I'd say, is in probably VG plus to excellent condition. But this, for the highest price, sold for $399, if you can believe that. So right off the bat, we are starting out kind of high, and you just saw Bob make his appearance on camera after a very long time. So there's Bob. But yes, The Doors' debut album, again, this lists it sold for $399 on Discogs at one point. But generally speaking, you can find even this exact copy for definitely around $20 to $20 to $50. You can find a very nice copy of this. So right off the bat, it's just kind of an insane amount that this record sold for. So that's The Doors. Next up, this is another kind of a weird one. This is the Beatles' Rarities, and this is like, I don't exactly know what this is. So in the comments below, I'd love if someone could help me out. This is the Beatles' Rarities that would come in the blue box, except of course, this is pressed by Capitol Records. Here's Bob right here. He's saying hello. This is pressed by Capitol Records. On the back, there's nothing, and it's just in like this paper sleeve. And if you take it out, it's on the Capitol Purple label. And again, it's the UK version of Rarities. And I actually was given this, I should say also, by the way, it was cut by Wally. Wally cut a lot of the Beatles Capitol material from like the 1970s all the way until like the early 1990s. But a friend of mine gave this to me, and he told me, based on his knowledge, that these were given away when the blue boxes originally came out. Now, I've looked these up online and tried to find some information on these, and I just can't really find any definite information as to what these exactly are. If they're a promo item, or if they were thrown into blue boxes, I guess, but the blue box was only released in the UK as far as I understand. I could be wrong with that, but maybe it was released in the US as well, but I think all those came with their own version of Rarities. Anyway, very confusing, but on Discogs, the only listing for anything that's even close to this, the listing they have on there, it's actually a green label, Capitol label for this, but it's the same album in the same type of paper packaging, so I'm just kind of confused as to what exactly this is. But if I look on my phone, for that being said, it was sold at the highest price for $400, one of these. So a dollar more than the Doors album, but comes in at number 9 on my list. The Beatles Rarities. I'm gonna call it the promo Rarities, but I don't know if it is. So please, in the comments below, help me find out what this is. Okay, coming up next, another bit of a shock. This is an album by the jazz guitar player Barney Kessel, and it is To Swing or Not to Swing, Volume 3, and is on Contemporary Records. And it's a very, very cool jazz guitar album. If you like jazz guitar, Barney Kessel is amazing. And it is on, let me take it out of its sleeve here. There is a sleeve in there, I promise. It is on the yellow Contemporary label, as you can see, and the record itself is in very, very nice shape. But this sold on Discogs. The highest price it sold was $430.10, which is kind of shocking. I imagine whoever bought this for that amount, there's probably something special about that particular copy. Maybe it was autographed by Barney Kessel. I'm sure it was in immaculate condition. Maybe it was a sealed copy. I don't know. All I know is that this sold for $430.10, and definitely a shocker that this one was one of the ones that came up as one of the most valuable records in my collection, according to Discogs. So there you go, Barney Kessel, To Swing or Not to Swing, Volume 3. Now, next up, we are coming to the first box set. And it is the famous and the wonderful Beatles Blue Box, or better known as the Beatles Collection. And this is officially known as BC13. And of course, I rave about this box. So many people in the vinyl community rave about this box. This was released in 1978. This particular box that I have here, I believe this was released in 1980. I believe most of these are 1980s presses. Some of them are 1978 presses. All of these sound really, really good. They're all cut from the original UK stereo master tapes, cut by Harry T. Moss, who was an amazing, amazing cutting engineer at Abbey Road, did almost all the Beatles records in the 60s and in the 70s. And this box set is just amazing. And I've raved about this numerous times on my channel. You get all the Beatles albums from Please Please Me all the way up into Let It Be. And you also get an album called Rarities, which I talked about before. Just an amazing, amazing collection, and definitely an investment worth making if you can find one of these. Now, on Discogs, it lists this particular box set one of them sold for $554.44. Now, I see these go for even more than that nowadays online, especially if they're in really, really good shape. This is pretty nice. This is pretty minty, my particular box here. I bought this a long time ago. I actually have multiple blue boxes. I picked these up like 10 or 15 years ago. You could pick these up for around $200. So I picked up about 2 or 3 over time. I'm now down to just 2 of them. And my other one is a complete set, but I don't have all the records inside. I have some of the records just on my record shelves, but this one is one I've kept complete. So it has all the records inside, which I can show you. Oh, actually, I stuck this in. This is a Love Me Do single. But yes, it has all the records inside, and just an amazing box set. So the blue box, no surprise that it shows up on this list as one of the valuable records in my collection. Next up is John Coltrane's A Love Supreme. This is a first pressing mono, and this I'm not surprised. This is an amazing, amazing record, and definitely a collectible, valuable record. And on Discogs, the highest it's sold for was $583.94. And again, I'm not at all surprised by this. This one's not a surprise to me whatsoever, but definitely a cool record to have in my collection, and I'm very happy to have it. Next up, this is the Beatles 2012. The Beatles in stereo. These are the remastered albums. This is the box. I've talked about this quite a lot, and there they're all in there, nice and cozy. This box, it's very heavy, so I'm going to put it on my knee here. It looks great on the shelf. It's nice to have these in immaculate condition. The book inside this is excellent. I've talked about the sound quality of the records. They, of course, are sourced from a digital source. The bass is a little bit overblown, inauthentic. They've got some problems, but generally speaking, it's a really nice box set, really well put together, and I'm not at all surprised that it's in the top 10 here. And one of these sold, the highest it sold on Discogs, was for $760.76. So $760 one of these sold for. I'm sure that was a long time ago when these were kind of just out and they were kind of in high demand. I picked this particular one up. I think I got this for like $300. I got it used, but I've always been happy to have it in my collection, and again, not surprised that it's showing up here in the top 10 most valuable according to Discogs. We'll put this down here very carefully. Next up, okay, this was a bit of a surprise to me. This is the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. This is a UK pressing. It's the first pressing of the UK pressing. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing special. It has the 3 flaps on the back, one up there, one right there, and one on the bottom. It has the 2 red lines. These are all important factors, by the way. The red line right there, red line right there. And I'll show you what the record looks like. This record is in very nice shape. This is, I'd say, excellent to near mint. Just excellent shape. On Discogs, one of these sold for, and this surprised me, it sold for $1,149. Now, again, I'm not quite sure why one of these would sell for something like that. Perhaps it was autographed by somebody like one of the Beatles or George Martin or something like that. But according to Discogs, the highest that it ever sold for was, yeah, $1,149.43. So there you go. Yellow Submarine, UK pressing, first pressing. Next up, another one that is kind of an oddball one, but an excellent one altogether. This is a Japanese pressing of Paul and Linda McCartney's Ram album, and this does sound excellent. This is one of my favorite sounding pressings of Ram, so I kind of understand why this would be up there. I'll show you what the record looks like. Comes in the original black sleeve. Now, my particular pressing here, I'd say it's in VG Plus condition, but it plays great, sounds excellent. Again, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite pressing of Ram. And on Discogs, one of these sold, the highest it sold for was $1,270. Yes, one of these sold for $1,270. I got my copy, I think, for somewhere around like $40, like 45 bucks, something like that. Under 50 for sure. It's an amazing sounding pressing of this. It's definitely not worth over $1,000. You can probably find one of these now for around $50 to $75 is what I would say. But a very cool pressing of Paul and Linda McCartney's Ram. Again, this is a Japanese pressing, and here's the back. And I think it originally had an OB strip, and mine doesn't have that, of course. So I'm sure without that strip, it's also not worth as much as well. But like I said in the beginning of this video, this is all just for fun, and all of my particular records are not in exactly mint condition. They're all, you know, probably like VG plus and better. Okay, next up, I'm consulting my phone here. Here's where it got surprising. My second most valuable record, according to Discogs, is my Beatles Butcher cover. This, of course, has not been peeled. And I don't know, I'll try to get close so you can see Ringo's V-neck. I have it in a frame here. Oh, there you go, you can see it. Underneath there's Ringo's V-neck of his, and actually you can kind of see Ringo in there. But yes, this is a Butcher cover, and according to Discogs, one of these sold, and of course there's different types of Butcher covers out there, but one that's in this condition, unpeeled, sold for $1,318. And I'm not surprised by that at all. I actually think that's a little bit low. I've seen some of these go, and mine of course is not in perfect mint condition whatsoever, but it's in very, very good condition. I've seen some of these go for upwards of like $2,000 to even like $3,000. That being said, I'm not at all surprised that this came in the top 5. I thought this would be number 1, but number 1 is kind of surprising, so let's check that out. The most expensive record, or records, it's a box set, in my collection, the Beatles Mobile Fidelity box set, or as it's known, the Beatles The Collection. Now, I made a video about this that you can watch up here. The Mobile Fidelity box set, it's very, very collectible, and it is very, very expensive. On Discogs, one of these, the highest it's sold, and this is pretty surprising, got to go to my phone here to get the exact amount, for $2,695. So basically $3,000, one of these sold. I see these all the time online. They generally sell for around like $1,000 to like $1,500 is what I see. I got a very, very good deal on mine from somebody. I made an offer and they accepted it, so I did not pay that much. But they are out there still. I don't think they're an essential thing to own in a Beatles collection, but they're definitely very, very cool to own. Some of these pressings in here are really, really nice. But again, I have a video talking all about this, so check that out. So these were my top 10 most valuable records according to Discogs. And again, I gotta say, it's just according to Discogs, just a fun little exercise to do. In no way, anything I talked about, the value of these records, it's just what someone's willing to pay for them. So don't base any type of, if you have one of these records in your collection, don't try to sell it based off of anything I just said, because it's just what Discogs says. But anyway, I'd love to know in the comments below what some of your most valuable records are according to Discogs. And again, I will show you my list right here if you want to check it out for yourself, so you can see what some of them sold for, and you can see the low price, the medium price, and the high price as well. So that's it for now. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more videos. They're coming up, and hope you're all doing well. Take care, and bye for now.